after figuring out that he lived here, and there's this pilgrimage of one Ojibwe after another who came to see the guy who hides away on the island. So I just want to say, in the highest esteem and in the highest regard for Anishinaabe people, Tom Vennum here lives, and I'd like to ask him to say a few words and just thank him for being one of the coolest guys on the island. So.
Oh.
Miigwech, Winona, Miigwech. I actually asked for this opportunity to introduce Keith again. I've known Keith for nearly 40 years. It began with a University of Minnesota folk arts survey of native arts and crafts in Minnesota, and since I had done a lot of work in Native American music and published quite a bit on it, and was a native Minnesotan myself, they thought that that would be very good and tack me and send me up to the Iron Range in Minnesota and look for Indian singers. There weren't any. But wherever I go, I refuse to believe that there aren't any Indian singers around, because you just turn over a rock and there's another one. And I asked around and I said, do you have any young Indian singers here in the range? And I said, like a drum, 4 or 5 singers. And they said, no, well, there was this young guy who was going to college up here named Keith Secola, and he's kind of interesting because his father is Italian and his mother is Ojibwe, and so I said, well, that makes me a Chippewa. We've forgiven him for that. Anyway, shortly after I got to know Keith, I began to invite him over here and stay at my house, and very soon he got to know Tom Nelson, and one thing led to another, and Tom's Burned Down place has been a good venue for Keith and his music for nearly 77 years now. No, not quite that.
1977.
23, yeah.
1977.
1977.
1977. That shows you what age this you are. Anyway, Keith he's left in the North Woods, but takes to it when he comes back. He can't wait to splash in Lake Superior when he arrives on Madeline Island, and he's settled here with his lovely wife and his 2 children, and they are ensconced across the blue here in Washburn. But Tom's Burned Down Cafe has been a real source of inspiration for me over the years, and I think the fact that Keith is still coming back here says a lot for what this kind of place is, and the fact that we still have places like this is a real testament to some far-thinking local governments. And we're so happy to have Keith every time he returns here. He's built up a small following, and So I'm happy to turn this back over to the main attraction of the evening.
Oh, oh.
Keith Secola. Please sing along with him because he wants you to.
All right. Oh.
They call them Frybird Sanctuaries, you know. They created rock and roll safe houses. They call them Frybird safe houses. Few Frybird safe houses on the island. No traveling Ojibwe musicians could come and hide out and sing the secret codes of Ode, you know. We had to go underground, we had to talk in codes. So this was illegal, you know, on Madeline Island.
Chair, you can get there.
You couldn't eat Frybird, you couldn't speak Frybird. So these Frybird parties, they grew and grew, and pretty soon they got real big. And the state wanted a piece of the Frybird, so they passed the Frybird laws. Like the Frybird Removal Act. The Trail of Grease. Frybird Law 280. Frybird Law 1070. They couldn't keep the people down. They hired military people to enforce the Frybird Law. Like Colonel Sanders and Captain Crunch, Major Ripoff and Major Asshole. But born to the people was a Frybird Messiah who went around the north. And there ain't much you can do with Frybird except trade it for 86 million acres of land. That's another story. Frybird. 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 So popular. Tiki bread. Granite bread. Where's you gone? Frybird. Go ahead, Philip. Doesn't seem to mind in my long Frybird line, 'cause we're all the same inside. We need Frybird all the time. All I'm asking for Frybird.